as we jump into game number 5. Welcome to High View. On the right side, we're going to have Hera playing as the French in blue, and to the left, it is going to be Szalami playing as the Abbasids in red. This is game number 5 of Surfshark. Winner stays on. Hera has a streak of 3, and our current score is 2-2. In we are at High View with no Rus for either player.
And both players deciding to build a second scout here at the start of the game. So both can be going for them sheep, and it can be sometimes difficult collecting sheep on this map with all the south forests. It's a little bit more difficult to spot them. So the second scouts, are going to help both of them with that, of course. And yeah, I'm expecting the French to be a bit aggressive here. Being able to train the knights in H2, knights can be very good at raiding, and French can kind of try to control the pace of the game, and then perhaps add a second TC if if they feel like they need to.
Indeed, looking at the base of the players, Szalami's got a gold mine quite exposed up front over here. His wood line at the back is safe. He's got a fairly safe stone mine as well. And he's got some sort of mutant forests down south out there. There is multiple forests intersecting with each other. And there is just a very, very tiny gap in between another forest here. So it's actually very easy for Szalami to wall off the entire left side of his base. And given the fact that he's so far been playing this slowly escalating game and he's got Abbasids, that's a very likely possibility for him to wall off the left side. For Hera, he could do something very similar on the right side. He's got two forests intersecting there as well.
Yeah, definitely could be nice, especially, against French. The early night raids can be really difficult to deal with at times. So just adding some small wall segments to kind of, you don't have to fully wall your base in, but if you can wall off certain sections, it can be really helpful against the night raids. So, and yeah, Szalami, he's a very non-meta player, I would say. There's a lot of cheesy and really unique strategies as we've been seeing. So really curious to see what he's going to try to do here against French.
And as you mentioned, he's really an off-meta player, but that is caused by the fact that he's a very slow player as well. So if you look at other pro players, Szalami himself streaming on Twitch, and other pro players also streaming, you will see that most other pro players are very fast. Like, they have a ton of actions done every single minute. And for Szalami, he's much, much slower. So he's sort of forced to play this way because when it comes to just raw speed of his gameplay, he's not there on par with the other pro players. So he has to win with strategy, he has to win with cheese because he can't win with speed. And part of the reason why I love his playstyle is because I can just relate to him so much because I myself also am very, very slow as a player. So I kind of feel for him because it's very difficult to play when you have a low APM and you're just like, okay, left click to select unit, right click to send it elsewhere. It's very difficult. In fact, it's super difficult to do it in the top 100 level.
Yeah, that's such an interesting thing about when playing different age games and RTS games is that some players have strengths where they're very quick, have really high APM, and some players, as you're saying, don't, and then maybe their strengths are their strategy. So it's really cool to see how players can win when they have different strengths and different weaknesses, and how to use your strengths to your benefit and minimize your weaknesses.
Looking at Szalami, he is aging up with the economy wing, as you would expect. And on the right side, Hera is going up with the School of Cavalry. No surprise about that one. He's only building it with 3, so he's not really rushing it for the time being, which definitely helps the Abbasids, considering that the Abbasids are probably the weakest when it comes to this early aggression from the French, especially with such an exposed gold mine out there. So far, no production buildings whatsoever from Szalami, so he's not planning to make a barracks as of yet. He hasn't gotten forestry for his lumberjacks. Looking at Hera, he hasn't gotten that upgrade either, so no eco upgrades on either side just yet. In terms of the sheep situation, you got a slightly better position for Szalami. He's got a couple more sheep over his opponent, but the difference is quite minimal. Of course, Abbasids having the berry bonus will give a very nice edge to them though, so especially with such a safe spot of berries, that could be a great source of food for Szalami.
Yeah, and he's now adding in a barracks here to try to get some spearmen being produced, so he can deal with any night harassments. And we'll have to see if he goes for the stone mine soon to add in the second town center, as that's the most popular strategy at the moment with Abbasids is that you go with the economic wing, research fresh food stuff, and then add in a second town center. But yeah, it can be a bit tricky. You don't want to try to add it in too soon, because then knights can harass your villagers quite significantly, and you don't want to fall behind in that sense. So you don't want to be too greedy with it, but at the same time, it's very nice having that second TC. So we'll have to see what Szalami goes for. And I'm not surprised to see him, not follow the meta, and he's dropping an archer range. So I think he's just going to stay on 1 TC and maybe just go Spearman Archer here.
Hera's got 2 scouts near his base, so he's going to spot whatever is coming up. I don't think that he spotted the production buildings just yet, but as you said, Archer Spearman is the likely composition over here, as the first knight now appears from Hera. This will be spotted by Szalami. Hera gets 1 hit out, and the Spearman will come in a matter of seconds to try and protect the lumberjacks, because the gold mine being exposed doesn't matter right now for Szalami. He's not mining gold. But this knight could definitely hit the lumberjacks. Spearman coming in to repel this attack. Hardened upgrade already in here. And Hera's gonna have to be careful here not to lose that knight, because he doesn't have chivalry just yet though. But he's coming in with the animation cancel, getting some nice hits on the villagers, and that is 1 villager killed here, and the knight will retreat.
Yeah, very nice play there from Hera, getting a vill kill and keeping the knight alive. And then he can later research chivalry to start healing up that knight. He is bringing the knight back in though, so needs to be careful with that low HP knights. Trying to see if he can poke it a charge off here, but Szalami positioning his spearmen really well on that wood line there. And Hera, meanwhile, using his scouts to just kind of destroy the mining camp here. And yeah, 2 barracks is 1 archer range for Szalami here.
For now, that is going to hold off those knights, but of course, French having the faster working town centers also means that Hera already possesses a 5 villagers lead, and that is nothing to be ashamed of at all. He's burning down the mining camp as we speak, and archers are appearing on the battlefield, and with all the map control that Hera has, he can just move out for those deers as well. So really, his food eco is going to be very, very good. If you look at the income per minute, in general, his eco is not better. Wood and food income is approximately the same, but Hera is also mining gold. And I just don't know which direction Szalami is heading at this point, because he's going to be pinned within his base. He's moving out to the left side with 2 vills. What is he up to?
Yeah, I'm not sure what these maybe walling? Maybe he's in a wall? Not sure what the 2 vills are up. Yeah, there we go.
He could place those walls a couple more tiles forward, so he can actually include the hunts inside. He also needs to consider that there is a tiny bit of a gap in between these forests over here, and that's something that he has to be careful about. Archers now opening up on the villagers. Szalami tried to wall this crossing off, but Hera realizes what's going on, and he's going to move in before that happens. Archers will pick off the first spearman. 1 knight is also falling victim to the spears right now. There's a couple of archers as well from Szalami, but his numbers aren't impressive right now. It's 14 army for Szalami, 13 for Hera. But of course, Hera's army has a much larger value with all those knights incorporated.
Yeah, Szalami trying to build that wall at the just the wrong time there. Hera moving in, perfect timing with the archers there. Szalami now trying to move out a bit though, but he doesn't have the archer lead, so Hera might be able to kind of kite here and do a little bit of hitting and running. But pretty even numbers though. Both players are going to try to kind of back off here. Szalami doesn't want to overcommit. Just now able to get enough map control to be able to get those walls up. And now going on to the berries there.
Indeed. As we take a look at the ecos, it's 32 villagers for Hera, 26 for Szalami, so he's behind by a tiny bit. But of course, he's going to have the berry bonus working for him. He's going to have a patch of hunt as well, just like Hera, so that is even in that department. Hera is adding a second archer range now, though. He's realizing that he's up against full infantry, and with mass archers, he could just take this down very easily, and it looks like Hera's about to find that opening. I wonder if Szalami knows about that. He should, because that is traversable. That's 100% sure.
Yeah, if he should, but I don't think he does. It's tricky. It's not obvious visually if it's traversable or not, but yeah, it is. And yeah, the knights just kind of sneaking through there. I think Szalami's going to see that and maybe be a little bit confused how these units are here. And these archers not getting in a great position to pick off some of these villagers on the berries here. And the knights also starting to get their charge here, and this could be quite bad for Szalami, losing multiple villagers here.
That is indeed 4, potentially 5 villagers going down. Szalami did not expect that coming, and that just comes as a heartbreaker for him because he was already on the back foot. Now losing 5 villagers and access to the bears is an absolute disaster, as we see a couple of camel archers hitting the field as well. But Hera can just retreat into this narrow choke point, and on the right side, he's already massing another army up with knights and archers. He knows exactly that Szalami is moving his entire army to the left side, so this is his window to move in on the lumberjacks on the right side, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Hera will probably try to take the best fight possible over here, looping around to the north with the knights. And at this point, it's all about the distraction as the knights on the north move in on the lumberjacks. They will get a charge in as well, it seems. He's going to take down one villager, potentially a second, and the third one could follow. And Szalami's eco is just collapsing as we speak.
Yeah, Hera doing a great job harassing, and yeah, it was quite painful. You know, Szalami, he didn't think that there was an opening there. He didn't think that it would be possible for any units to be on that side of the map. He thought his berry villagers were safe, and yeah, just getting caught off guard there. Losing a lot of villagers here, and yeah, Hera looking to be in a really good spot, just controlling the game with these raids.
Hera could even opt to just think about going into Castle Age, but at this point, he can just go full army and just finish off the game over here. It's probably the safest approach over here, although, as we discussed, he can definitely think about decreasing his military production at this point and just thinking about Castle Age, because his opponent isn't likely going to be able to move out. Szalami is now done walling, so really, now it comes down to one victory condition for Szalami, and that is getting a second town center going and somehow compensating for those villager losses, because it's 25 to 38 in terms of the villager department right now. Hera just now grabbing chivalry, and now he's got a blacksmith as well. He's grabbing the archer attack upgrade first instead of the defense upgrade, and we will probably see siege engineers from him even at this point.
Yeah, Hera looking to move out here, and it feels like Szalami, you know, he's behind significantly in Nico, so he needs to make something happen. He's still just being defensive here, and perhaps maybe going to go for a timing push here soon. But yeah, I mean, Hera's just very far ahead economically, and also just a military lead here. It looks like, you know, Szalami's army is not too bad. He's got a lot of spearmen, a fair number of archers, and also mixing in quite a few camel archers. And, you know, camel archers give the camel an ease where it makes all cavalry units do 20% less damage. So these knights will be doing 20% less damage when they are near these camels here.
And that is a great buff to the army over here for Szalami. His army is looking scary, so it looks like he's just going to go full feudal here, and the only saving grace for him, as we discussed, is that despite the fact that he's got less villagers, as you see, the food and wood income is pretty much the same between the two players, and Szalami's army is just food and wood, so he doesn't really need gold that much. But he needs way more archers over here, because currently, Hera's got the archer number advantage, and he's retreating in an orderly fashion, picking off quite a lot of those spears. The archers are trying to follow this up with the support from the camel archers, but Hera is able to take down quite a lot of spearmen over here, now focusing down the camel archers. And Hera now coming in with reinforcements. I kind of get the feel that this is an overextension from Szalami here, although he's picking off some of those archers retreating. But Hera now will turn around and fight. He's got the archer numbers to win this one, I believe, because Szalami just doesn't have the archer numbers here.
Yeah, how these spearmen are pushing the camel archers just looked quite amusing there. But yeah, it felt like Szalami was just too heavy on spearmen here. And yeah, Hera doing a really great job kiting and just not engaging, realizing he had the archer lead, and there's just, you know, no reason for the knights to engage there, and just to kite as much as possible there. Now using the knights to kind of pick off the reinforcements.
Nice move here from Hera, although he has to be careful because the spearmen are closing in. But as we see that, Hera is going to call a retreat. And keep in mind that currently, there is no safe gold income either for Szalami over here. His gold mine is heavily exposed. So even if he wanted to, he couldn't get to Castle Age. And Hera is just amping up the pressure more and more. The lumberjacks are under attack again. And in this traffic jam, it is very, very easy to use those archers from Hera effectively. He's got the archer numbers advantage here, and he's using that to great effect. He is slowly being ground down on archer numbers, though. The town center fire is helping out quite considerably. But Hera already has a second range going for him, whereas Szalami is only working with one archer range. So Hera will always be able to outnumber his opponent in archer numbers, and that is just going to guarantee good fights for him.
Yeah, Hera definitely in a controlling spot here. Szalami does run out of all those berries. He does have another one safe. They'll be, in the back of his base there. In the meantime, going on to the sheep. And yeah, Salami's in a tough spot here, definitely. And yeah, Hera's just playing it patiently as he should be, not overcommitting, realizing he has the lead, and just playing it safe, and just continuing to try to grow his lead here.
Hera still committing all of his resources into army production at this point. That's probably the safest thing to do right now for him. He knows exactly he's got the advantage in terms of villagers, and now we're seeing Hera move up to that board. Once again, leveraging that map control as well, because at some point, Szalami is going to run out of food in the berries, in the hunt, inside his base. Whereas for Hera, he's gonna be able to leverage every single advantage from that map control. So he is able to take his 2 patches of huntables, he's able to take that boar as well, so he doesn't need to start adding farms. Whereas at some point, Szalami is gonna have to do that, still adding villagers quite consistently, but Szalami is behind by 15 vills, and that could increase very soon as Hera is now swooping in with the knights. Szalami's got his army inside that TC ready to jump out though, so you gotta be careful if you're Hera.
Yeah, also just getting a lot of the arrows from the TC, getting the TC far in a lot while not idling any of your villas, because if you have to put your villagers in there, then they're not working. So kind of nice putting the military in there. But yeah, Salami's just moving with like his entire eco here, 32 idle villas going onto the wood line here, and he is aware of that back berries, right? He has to be aware of those berries. Or maybe he was gathering wood to build a mill. He's so starved on res that he doesn't even have enough resources to build a mill. And yeah, now here even pushing this location.
This is looking very, very difficult right now for Szalami. Looking at the army numbers, it's 58 for Hera, 38 for Szalami only, and he's running out of wood within his base. Hera's about to break through those walls. Looking at Szalami, he's got a ton of army inside that town center, but Hera is just not forced to fight at this point, and if he breaks through the left side, he can just deny all the resources on the left side. Hera had a scout inside the base of Szalami here, so he spotted those berries. Speaking of Szalami, he should know about those berries as well, but I guess he may have just forgotten about it. He's got gold income from the left side, but he's got no food income at this point. And you see that Hera is just not stopping with the reinforcements, and at some point he's going to reach that critical mass that's good enough to just go underneath the town center. Looking at the upgrades for Hera, he has gotten the melee defense, or the range defense upgrade, excuse me, and the ranged attack as well, just as much as the melee attack. So the only upgrade that he's missing is the melee defense for the time being, as he breaks through the walls. And I think, especially with Szalami moving out with no less than 22 villagers on those berries, that could be the worst possible timing for him. Hera is now adding rams here. He's preparing for that final push.
Yeah, Hera playing this game very patiently and very safe. It's easy to sometimes think that, oh, I have such a big lead, let me just go in and kind of end this game, and then all of a sudden, you take like a bad trade underneath your opponent's town center or something, and then you kind of let your opponent back into the game. But Hera being very patient and realizing he's got the economic lead, so he doesn't really have to overcommit. He just wants to let that eco lead slowly develop and just put himself further and further ahead in the game and just play it safe.
Spearmen are being pulled by Szalami over here to take down the battering ram. Hera has actually moved all his forces to the right side because he spotted some enemies moving outside of the base of Szalami. Szalami is moving out with 14 spearmen to the right side as they are being pursued by a couple of archers. Since it's only spearmen, the archers should be able to deal with them, and the same is the case on the left side. Hera's gonna pick off 2 villagers building those walls out here as the walls are once again completed, but at this point, Hera's gonna have another battering ram coming in. Hera lost 1 battering ram inside the base of the opponent, but he also lost track of those spearmen coming to the right side. Still, these spearmen shouldn't really be able to do much right now because Hera is now on 3 archer ranges, so even just a handful of archers should be able to deal with this. Hera is coming in with that, what probably will be a decisive push here. Ram Dance in the middle of the map. He's got 76 army on the battlefield against 41 of his opponent, and the Ram's already knocking on those walls. I'm honestly unsure what Szalami's game plan is or how he's planning to survive over here.
Yeah, he's just kind of trying to do everything he can. He realizes he can't really push out and doesn't have a ton of he has to know that he has army in that TC, right? Or is he unaware? Because they've been in there a very long time. Maybe it's tricky. Sometimes the units can go inside your TC and like without you being aware of it. Like, I don't know, perhaps like I've seen it multiple times with players before where maybe they like right click or something on accident. Okay, now the army is coming out, so but yeah, I mean this French army from Hera is it's just massive. Now 3 Rams, very large number of knights and with 55 archers.
On the right side, Szalami is trying to go for a sneaky ram push, probably trying to get a landmark victory for himself as his only hope. But I kind of get the feel that Hera's ram push here is much more straightforward, and it's just going to take down landmarks much easier compared to Szalami. Salami's one last hope is that ram push, but I mean, villagers being pulled should be able to take down those rams. Whereas on the other side, Hera is now rolling in with his own. There is 10 spearmen and archers inside that town center for Szalami, ready to jump on those rams. Hera's got a gigantic army in front. Archers now pop out. For Szalami, the spearmen are still nearby, though. Town center now under attack. Every single building is going down. Szalami is just trying to buy himself some time to get that ram push going, but really, that should never work for him at this point. Hera has reached the critical mass, and now he's charging underneath the town center. Szalami's population is dropping quite rapidly over here as his entire army on the left side is getting cleaned up. The Rams are knocking down the town center as villagers are desperately trying to finish off those battering rams. Szalami is actually opening up on the right side with his rams, but I kind of get the feel that Hera is just going to take down those rams or take down those buildings before Szalami can do anything with his own rams. Szalami is pulling every single villager to kill all of these rams here. He's actually taking down one ram. A second one is heavily damaged, but every single villager will be sacrificed in the process. Szalami is down to 14 eco at this point. The town center is gonna be taken down, and as you see, Hera's gonna have the window to take down those rams. Szalami tried one more thing, going for that sacred site victory, but that just didn't work out for him, and Hera's gonna be able to hold off this push against his landmarks, whereas on the other side, Szalami is gonna lose his own.
Yeah, nice, last little ditch try there from Szalami, throwing the Hail Mary, trying to go for the landmark victory. But yeah, Hera playing this game very well, getting a good lead early and being very patient and just continuing to grow his lead throughout this game.
Looking at that timeline, that's going to be very sad for Szalami. I mean, the villager discrepancy was very, very big. I feel like beyond, let's say, minute 10, where Szalami started losing villagers, there was just no hope, especially once he lost those villagers on the berries, due to that hole being in between those forests, that's where things started spiraling out of control.